Good evening and welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for June 1st, 2023. At this time, I would like to call the meeting to order. The commissioners who are present for this evening's meeting are at City Hall and on Zoom. We also have staff from the city attorney and clerk's offices, as well as city planning department. If you're joining us on Zoom this evening, we can see that you are here. You may observe the meeting, however, your ability to be seen on screen and talk will be muted. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, you will be unmuted and then be able to comment. Please note that we cannot take questions until the public testimony portion. If you have a process question during the meeting, please email cityclerk@meridiancity.org and they will reply as quickly as possible. Let's begin with roll call. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Grace,
Here.
Commissioner Rivera, Commissioner Stoddard,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Seal.
Here.
Absent are Commissioners Wheeler, Lorcher, and Rivera.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. We have the application for Schumacher Franklin, H 2023-0008, and Coal Valley Christian School, H 2023-0011. Will be open for the sole purpose of continuing to a regularly scheduled meeting. They will be open only for that purpose. So if there's anybody here tonight to testify for these applications, we will not be taking public testimony on them. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and we have two items on the consent agenda. The first is to approve the minutes of the May 18th, 2023 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The second is finding facts and conclusions of law for Dutch Bros at 10 Mile, H 2023-0020. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
And moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, this time I'd like to briefly explain the public hearing process. We will open each item individually and begin with staff report. Staff will report their findings on how the item adheres to the comprehensive plan and unified development code. After staff has made their presentation, the applicant will come forward to present their case and respond to staff comments. They will have 15 minutes to do so. After the applicant is finished, we will open the floor to public testimony. Each person will be called on only once during the public testimony. The clerk will call the names individually of those who signed up in advance to testify. You'll need to state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to address the commission. If you have previously sent pictures or presentations for the meeting, it will be displayed and you will be able to run the presentation with assistance from the clerk if needed. If you have established that you are speaking on a large group like an HOA where others from that group will allow you to speak on their behalf, you will have up to 10 minutes. After all those who have signed up in advance have spoken, we will invite any others who may wish to testify. When you're finished, if the commission does not have questions for you, you will return to your seat in chambers or be muted on Zoom and no longer have the ability to speak. Please remember, we generally do not call people back up. After all testimony has been heard, the applicant will be given another 10 minutes to come back and respond. When the applicant is finished responding to questions and concerns, we will close the public hearing. Commissioners will have the opportunity to discuss and hopefully be able to make final decisions or recommendations to City Council as needed. With that, at this time, I'd like to continue the public hearing for item number H 2023-0004 Compass Point subdivision. And we will begin staff report.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. The applicant, this project was continued on May 4th at the commission hearing, and the applicant is here to discuss the project again. The applications that were submitted were annexation and zoning, preliminary plat, private streets, and alternative compliance. The applicant has addressed all of staff's conditions and resubmitted plans, and I'll go ahead and show you. Resubmitted the preliminary plat to address the 10-foot sidewalk along Locust Grove, the turnaround prior to the gate, a sidewalk connection to Victory Road, and the required landscape buffers do meet the requirements of the UDC and the 25-foot requirement as well and width. And then I'll just go ahead and start with, they also submitted revised elevations, additional ones to show us how the street, the private street to the north would look, the different houses. So it's not one continuous monotone plane. And then I also pulled from ACHD's report to talk about the level of acceptable service. The road was given an F from ACHD. However, the roadway segments are going to be improved, and these are the timelines. So the bridge over 10 Mile on Victory Road is scheduled to be replaced and widened in 2023. And the other bridge over 10 Mile Creek on Locust Grove is scheduled in the FY planned designed to be in 2023 and widened in 2026. And I can go to ACHD's website and pull up their map to show you the timelines that's happening in that area next to this project. So currently, this is Locust Grove widening. This is the roundabout that's ACHD is currently working on at Locust Grove and Victory. And those are both 2023 projects. So you can see that that's actually being done now and the roads are closed. And then the bridge project that's up through here is scheduled for 2023 as well. And that will be worked on after the roundabouts. So, and it also goes to Overland. So I just wanted to point that out on their website.
Okay.
And that concludes staff's presentation for tonight about this project. And I stand for any questions.
Great. Thank you very much. The applicant like to come forward.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, for the record, it's Steve Arnold, 18 Land Consultants, 1785 Whisper Cove, Boise, 83709. As I was talking to Stacy earlier tonight, I really don't have a lot of a presentation. You've heard me speak on this project probably more than most, and you're probably tired of listening to me. To recap, I mean, we originally had this approved by this board with about twice as many lots as we have now. The only thing that's really changed on this is we went from townhouse to single family. And that was done based on the direction of the council. You know, after this got denied once by the P&Z, we went to city council. We asked for them to remand it back to you guys. Then you guys approved it. We went to city council and council's, yeah, townhomes we don't like. So it was denied, and you know, we waited the year time. We resubmitted, and we think we know that I think we've addressed all of city council's concerns. So there's not much more I can add to this tonight. So I'll stand with questions.
Commissioners, we have any questions for staff or the applicant? Go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Steve, just a question about the sidewalks. Am I accurate in looking at the history of this project and concluding you went from 5 to 10 feet, but only for a certain portion of the sidewalk along, I think it's Locust?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Grace, no, that's incorrect.
Okay.
So we went from 5 foot along Locust Grove and 5 foot along Victory to the 10 foot. Actually, I think Victory has always been 10. We just changed it along Locust Grove. The internal sidewalk has not changed. It's 5 foot adjacent to the private road.
Okay. But you're in compliance with the staff recommendation on the 10 foot on the arterial roads.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Grace. I guess I should have stated this in the beginning, but we're in compliance with all of the staff report and all the agency requirements, so we can comply with all of the staff report.
Okay, thanks. I was just confused about that piece of it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Nope. Go right ahead.
Mr. Chair, there's nobody signed up or online.
Anybody in the audience that would like to testify on this? Might make this quick for you here. Nothing further to add, no other questions? All right, thank
I have no rebuttal.
you. All right.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, appreciate it. With that, can I get a motion to close the public hearing for file number H 2023-0004 for Compass Point subdivision?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing for file number H 2023-0004. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes. I'll jump in first. Stacy, thank you very much for getting the additional data on the roads and everything there. So reading through the ACHD report, Locust Grove was graded as an F, which is basically subpar for service in that area. But you can see 2023 is when that is going to get widened. So, and there's other work that's going on in the area and that's already been completed. So I've seen this application quite a few times in the 4 years I've been here. So glad to see that it's, kind of landing where it is. It's been quite the battle to get this in here and get that little piece of land developed. It's definitely, it is an odd piece of infill that's in there. And I'm pretty happy with what ended up. I mean, between, what the commission and council recommended on it, I think you did a good job of putting it in there the best way you possibly could, without, making it something that's not going to be enjoyable for the folks that live there. So I'm in favor of moving this forward to city council. Commissioner Grace?
Mr. Chairman, I would agree with you. I like what I saw. I remember this from several weeks ago, and I like what I saw in reviewing this in preparation for tonight's meeting. I still do think that you might have a challenge on your hand with having the HOA sort of make people park in garages. Having served on an HOA, I know that's not always easy. And if the private street can't handle the off-street parking, then that could be an issue, but it is what it is. Just a question for clarification. So the director has already approved, or he has just indicated his support of the alternative compliance with the private street? And is that anything we have to, it looked like we don't have to take action on it, but do we have to at least vocalize some sort of support for that?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Grace, so the director has already approved it. There is no need for you to take action on it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Commissioner Stoddard, Commissioner Smith?
Mm,
Smith, go
nothing for
ahead.
me.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this before. And it seemed like there were just a couple things to button up at the last hearing, and it seems like they've gotten everything buttoned up. So I have no additional comments or feedback. It seems like it's the best use of, what you stated is an odd piece of land, odd piece of infill. And, going from the previous kind of strong resistance this to, no one commenting. Seems like, a lot of the previous complaints have all been addressed. So please support this.
Commissioner Stoddard, do you have anything to add?
Nope, I agree with what you guys said, so.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion. If anybody wants to take a crack at one.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Smith?
After considering all staff, applicant, and public testimony, I move to recommend approval of the city council of file number H-2023-0004 as presented in the staff report for the hearing date of June 1st, 2023.
A second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve file number H 2023-0004 for Compass Point subdivision. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time again. Okay, with that, we will continue file number H 2023-0011 for Cole Valley Christian School, pre-K 12, for continuance to the date of 6/15/2023. Somebody want to make a motion on that?
Mr. Chairman, I can try.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we continue agenda item 4, file number H 2023-0011 for Cole Valley Christian School to our next regularly scheduled meeting on June 15, 2023.
The reasoning behind that is because we still haven't received the ACHD
Yeah,
staff report.
yeah, my apologies. That's exactly right.
Have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to continue file number H 2023-0011 to the date of 6/15/2023. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, motion carries. Thank you. I'd like to open file number H 2023-0014 for Swig Meridian. And we will begin with staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. The next application before you is a request for a conditional use permit. This site consists of 0.59 of an acre of land. It's zoned CG and is located at 3471 West Chinden Boulevard. The comprehensive plan future land use map designation is commercial. The conditional use permit is requested for a drive-through establishment within 300 feet of another drive-through facility, a residential district, and existing residences on 0.59 of an acre in the CG zoning district. There are 3 other existing drive-through establishments within 300 feet of the property. Key Bank to the west, Dutch Brothers Coffee to the east, and Slim Chickens further to the east. There are existing residences and residential districts within 300 feet of the property to the west. A 665 square foot restaurant is proposed for Swig, which serves sodas, cookies, and pretzels. The proposed use will only have drive-through service, no indoor or outdoor seating, walk-up order window, nor speakers are proposed. The parking is for employees only. The proposed use and development plan is in substantial conformance with the provisions in the existing development agreement and with the specific use standards for drive-through establishments in the UDC. The applicant submitted a revised plan shown on the right earlier today that includes perpendicular instead of angled parking, which allows vehicles to park without going around the building through the drive-through, requiring the outside lane to remain open the entire length. This change allows an additional short overflow stacking area, which should prevent vehicles from blocking the drive aisle adjacent to parking. Staff is in favor of the proposed design with the following modifications to the conditions of approval. Deletion of condition number 2E, which prohibits stacking in the outside travel lane of the drive-through. And condition requiring wheel restraints in the parking spaces to be depicted abutting the pedestrian walkway on the east side of the site to prevent cars from overhanging beyond the designated parking stall dimensions as set forth in the UDC, or widen the abutting sidewalk an additional 2 feet to allow for overhang. I noted that is indicated on the site plan, but not on the landscape plan, so that's why I mentioned it. There has been no written testimony on the request, and staff is recommending approval with the aforementioned changes to the conditions. Staff will stand for any questions. I believe the applicant is online tonight. Sophie. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
All right, would the applicant like to come forward then? Good evening. We'll need your name and address for the record, and the floor is yours.
My name is Cass Tenney. My address is 5219 West Nokasippi Lane in South Jordan, Utah. 84009. I work for Savory. We own Swig, the restaurant proposed. I think she covered everything. We did make this last minute change to the site plan today for the parking. I just wanted to also mention that our original location is in St. George, Utah, and has a similar layout. Because the parking stalls are only used for employees. As she said, we don't have any customer access besides through the drive-through. There's been no issues with parking stalls with with our employees and customers coming in and out, just because there's not a lot of traffic, if you will, just coming and going to work.
Okay.
Any questions? Anything else?
Commissioners, any questions for the applicant? Just throw it out there just because there's a lot of drive-throughs out there. Have you put one of these into a location with this many drive-throughs?
Yes, so this is our new prototype, and we've put these in quite a few parking lots in grocery stores in Texas. Even next to Dutch Bros, which I'm sure you're familiar with, has quite the following. So we have multiple sites that we're right next to them, and we both bring a lot of traffic, but we move people through the line very quickly. So they're usually at the window for under a minute. And we do the orders like Chick-fil-A with the iPads. So they're just circling through very quickly.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody signed up to testify on
Mr.
this?
Chair, we do not.
Would you like to come up testify? No, the only person online is the engineer. That's not correct. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, go ahead.
I actually do have a question.
Okay.
Do you serve more than soda, cookies, and pretzels? Or is that just like a sampling of what?
No, so we have soda, it's all drinks, so soda, water-based drinks, and we have our own proprietary energy drink. So it's Starbucks, but soda and water instead of coffee.
Are they pretty specialized cookies and pretzels, I'm guessing?
Yeah, just we have kind of specialty rotating menu of cookies and then pretzel bites. It all comes in prepackaged, so that's why we're able to fit pretty small in there.
Okay, I was just curious. Thanks.
I think you guys have So Delicious and
Anybody else? No? All right. Thank you very much. With that, I will take a motion to close public hearing for file number H 2023-0014.
So moved.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing for file number H 2023-0014. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, motion carries. Yeah, I'll start and say this one, outside of, there's a lot of drive-throughs out there. I just picture people, I'm gonna go get a coffee and get a snack to go with it and get my chicken and go through to the bank, and that you could spend an hour out there going through the and then you got to stop and get gas on the other side. So that could be entertaining to watch out there. Other than that, it's good to see more businesses, coming into the Meridian area, especially ones that we haven't seen before that are chains, and, kind of blended in with, more of our organic kind of mom and pop shops and things like that. So it's good to see. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I agree. I like the idea that this is a little bit unique and something different. And to speak to the drive-throughs, I forget the name of the road, the lane that's south of the establishment, but obviously they're not, there's not an access onto Chinden or anything. So I'm thinking and hoping that that's going to make it okay. So I support this as well.
Commissioner Stoddard, anything to add?
Nope, I support it too. I think it's good.
I will take a motion. Anybody wants to throw one out?
Chair,
Go right ahead.
after considering all staff and applicant testimony, I move to approve file number H 2023 0014 as presented in the staff report for the hearing date of June 1st, 2023.
Have a second?
Second.
Do we need two conditions, the two additional?
With the addition of those two conditions. Mentioned by staff. The removal of condition 2E and clarify,
Parking barriers.
oh, and the inclusion of the parking barriers as shown in the site plan, but not the landscape plan.
I'll second that.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to approve file number H 2023-0014 for Swig Meridian. All in favor, please say aye.
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 No opposed? Motion passes and it is approved. Right, and with that, thank you. And with that, we will open file number H 2023-0008 for Shoemaker Franklin for continuance to the date of July 6th, 2023.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I move that we continue the hearing for item 6, file number H 2023 -0008 to our regularly scheduled meeting on July 6th, 2023.
So a second?
Second.
And moved and seconded to continue file number H 2023-0008 to July 6th, 2023. All in favor, please say aye.
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 No nays. It is continued. And with that, I will take one more motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
motion to adjourn.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you much.